When it comes to long-term engagements or raising babies, women are very apprehensive about their partner's financial future, so men ought to be incredibly concerned about a woman's sexual history. Women should be a supplement to your life, not the priority. Men should do the work. Women should wait out at the finish line and choose the victors. Assumably today, she's not yours. It's just your turn. So, if you ask me if a woman's sexual history is important, the answer would be twofold depending on whether. If it's a short-term connection, nothing significant is expected to happen out of it, and no consequences or repercussions can arise from it. Maybe a venereal disease in case you fail to use protection, but often you will come out all right. However, if it's long-term, or more particularly if you're looking for a girlfriend or someone to have kids and settle down with, for example, then yes, it is very essential to worry about her previous partners. The reason is she is extremely worried about your financial future, which means your ability to provide for her as a masculine male role model in a household, and you should be interested in her sexual preferences. Research and data suggest that a woman has a very low probability of forming a long-term, healthy monogamous commitment to one man if she has a high number of notch marks, has a history of infidelity, has slept with numerous men, and or has lost her virginity young. However, if you compare two women, one who lost her virginity at the age of 16, has a notch count of 50, while the other, who kept it until she was 20, has a notch count of 2. Lady B is a much better alternative for white stock. The possibility of divorce will be lower if you desire to have children. Your marriage is destined to withstand the test of time and external pressure. Now, if I make a surprising remark on equality of both genders being a skewed idea, then it would be an eye-opener. Do you know why guys can be promiscuous with impunity but women can't be? It is typically what ends up happening. This is where the freak show comes from. And the reality is men and women are complements to one another in one's life. They're not the same, they're not identical, they're very different. Men are endowed with massive amounts of testosterone, while women have estrogen. When it comes to hormonal levels, how we operate in the sexual market, and all the research and data, there seem to be different angles. The statistics expressly state that women struggle to build good long-term monogamous pair bonds with men if they've had a promiscuous past. That's merely the reality of the dating world. So if you're a woman watching this, and you're trying to locate a solid guy, and have a family with, don't be a garden tool, don't go tossing it around to every guy you know that shows you some attention. You want to protect your beauty and your notch count for that matter. To my second answer to the question, how do you determine that? Well, you're not going to ask her because she's not going, to be honest with you. If you ask a woman what her notch count is, she'll either lie or underestimate it. Most males will usually respond, well, you can either double or treble the number, and I'll tell you why. When women recollect this number, they typically contemplate anything longer term, such as boyfriends they may have had if they had a romantic relationship that lasted 3 months, or anything that falls under the rubric of a one-night stand. What happens in Vegas remains in Vegas during the girls' 2.5-month summer trip to Europe, when they meet a threesome and a lesbian couple. Those things aren't recounted correctly, so you won't receive an accurate number. You'll get a number, but it won't be an accurate number. I mean, if you want to be lazy, double or treble the number. Let's assume you meet a chick, and she's 31 years old, and you're dating her, and you want to try to establish this sort of thing. Just ask her, hey, tell me about your 20s, what did you do during that time? Well, I had a boyfriend from the age of 21, and we just broke up 6 months ago. That's a quite strong indicator that she is pro, unless the relationship was an open relationship, but that's a pretty good indicator. But it is very uncommon. Even though you won't experience that very often, you're more likely to experience the following. In college, there were 40 guys. I traveled extensively. I worked on a cruise ship where I traveled the world, backpacked, and I moved around a lot. And I did a lot of other things. In situations like these, where there is a lack of a monogamous long-term relationship, you are almost certainly going to have a high count. However, you won't get the accurate or almost accurate count if you lazily multiply by 2 or 3. Nevertheless, you do deserve to know an ideally close estimate of her count because you are going to have a long-term relationship, probably have children, and spend your resources and time. In addition, she will be curious about your financial future, so you should at least know her Nash count.